So, Conclave 2024, I really loved it, and here's the video of my interpretations and my impressions. I haven't watched or read anything, so it will be interesting to compare afterwards, but I do have something to say, so this is why this video. Okay, first of all, I finally understood the appeal of Vatican as a setting for filmmakers. It's really a miniature world, a country in itself, and it's the furthest we can get from our day-to-day society, the world as we know it, and the political process and all this stuff. And this is like a complete mystery, and no one ever seen it and no one will ever see it. And so with this being a mystery and something that is there based on the tradition, it also gets me to another pope, the Jude Law, and young pope, and I really liked his speech about the not being seen thing. Well, if you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna link this in the description. The Vatican, of course, sets the tempo, the philosophical mood of the whole narrative, and it's really rooted in tradition. There is no rush, and the filmmakers show us this tradition like straight from the beginning. The details, the rich clothing, the rituality, and the first scene there is very ritualistic. So we see the close-ups of the rings, the environment, and the words being said in unison that we don't understand. So the mystery is there. And I have the quite radical idea about this movie. I think that it's about church, but it's not about church at all. So it's rather a prism that we can see big questions, that we can ask big questions to ourselves about the world which is around us right now through this example of a church. And I think it's rather like a philosophical essay on power and politics. And so the big questions that filmmakers are asking us here is how you choose a leader. What kind of leadership is good? Is it good for everyone? What if all the candidates have flaws? What is faith? What's the difference between faith and the church as an institution? And if we switch the context here, so there's going to be what is government or presidency and how it's different from the democracy. And if we switch the context once again to the corporate environment, so what is the role of the CEO and to whom he or she should be accountable? Can we ensure the non-abuse of power and its fair distribution? And if we can, how we can achieve that? Do we need certainty? Do we need a book of very precise definitive rules or more broadly formulated beliefs and values that should guide us? Are radical left are that much different from radical right if they come to power? And what if the whole system is broken? And can we fix it from within? And if we can, then how do we do it? The story itself, the movie, it has an ending, they choose a pope, but the focus on the movie is rather on the process. The answer is not that much interesting as a decision-making process involved, the reasons, the values that guide its decisions, the things that makes us change or doubt. And I think it acts as a prism on us, and it works because there are no definitive answers to this kind of questions. I really like cinematography in Conclave. It's very beautiful, and since, as you all know, cinematography is a lot about light, so the light here guides the whole narrative. So it separates the world of the conclave from the outside world, like they literally shut the light out. And the light also guides us through the narrative. It is there in the really specific point plots, and the last scene of the whole movie is also about the light. And I really like the lighting, and there was a couple of scenes which they shoot in some sort of the cinema theater with the blue sets, and there was the floodlight from above, and these are magnificent. They look like Caravaggio paintings with a black background, very intense colors, like a very balanced composition and not much depth in terms of the perspective. And speaking of colors, like the whole color accents in the movie are very tonal, and you can always find like the black, white, red and blue, and they all play a lot about those full colors. And since the light is the thing which we usually observe in the paintings, and like the light guides us in the narrative of the paintings that are in museums. And the second thing that works in the paintings and here in this movie as well is the eyes of the main character. So the eyes of the main character, played by Ralph Fiennes, like magnificently played. The whole performance is so wonderful. I so like it, like the eye movement, the gesture, the facial expressions, all the, like, a lot of things that he shows us about his character, and the emotions and the expressions are so brilliant. And he doesn't talk much, he listens, he's there to listen. And in all his ways, he's shown as this type of the true servant of church. If you can put it in one word, it would be the word humble. Like, he's really humble in there. And they like to call it manager, like the Holy Father dying left him to manage the conclave, but I more like the word shepherd. It has this more biblical appeal, and I think that's what he does. That's what his role. He's a humble shepherd, and that's what he's doing. And the casting is wonderful. All the other candidates for the Pope are so dramatic, distinctive, and they make the chemistry with and against each other, so that it works like really well. And I have personally one remark. The casting of John Lithgow, like, I know he's a wonderful actor, but because he played Trinity in the Dexter series, like, I don't know, I just can't trust him. I can't trust him, and this is brilliant casting in here. And this is where we actually like flowing into the spoiler zone of my talk. So if you still want to watch, please do watch Conclave. It's a really great movie. And if you watched it, so I'm going to talk about the turtles. The turtles, yeah. Just two scenes, but I really like it. So this is like in the first scene, there are just two phrases there. So the script reads, "Holy Father's turtles. I love them. They're so clever. Well, here they keep escaping and being run over." And then they switch to another dialogue, and I really like this idea of that Holy Father's turtles, like Holy Father's views and beliefs. And here in this current situation, the church, how it works as an institution, everybody steps on them, everybody doesn't believe them, everybody disregards them. And the only two people who see those turtles, who see those beliefs, are our main character and another guy. So here it is. And the like, continuing with this analogy, so the last scene of the movie, the second turtle scene, is another powerful statement that mirrors actually the result of the election. So Lawrence, our main character, he notices this turtle, he notices this true belief of the church that was left on the ground, being stepped on, run over, and he gently, with respect and attention, he lifts it off the dust and he walks it towards where these beliefs should be. So the shepherd idea again here. I think this is like really beautiful, and this actually concludes his arc and the task that dying Pope left him to shepherd, to serve the faith and not the church. And speaking of the last scenes, there are actually two last scenes in the movie, and another one would be with the light, and where Lawrence get the light back through the window, and he opens the window and like literally a breath of fresh air, which also mirrors the result of the election. And these two things, the light and breath of fresh air, is also what helps the cardinals actually make the decision after the, let's call it, Sixtine Chapel incident. The light and the fresh air, two things from outside of their system, which go in the system, and they help them. So I really like this idea, and I really liked how it's portrayed, and how we see the whole story from the eyes of this non-power seeking character in the world thirsty for power. It really feels fresh. And if we connect like the first scene and the very last scene, so he goes from the dark tunnel to light and hope. Yeah, I really like that. So Conclave, great movie, guys. Watch it.